Hello everyone, this is another video for the Saginaw Valley United Pentecostal Church of Bridgeport Sanctuary. This time we're going to take a look at the soundboard and the various things that, the basics of it. Let's take a look at the left side of the board. At the far left you can see that there are 4 layers. Each time you push one of them 4 buttons, it'll change the focus and the fader levels to correspond to what is programmed into them. So the first layer at the top there you see is channels 1 through 16. Those are XLR inputs. The second one is channels 17 through 32. And those are mostly just microphones for vocals and speaking and ambient microphones. The third layer is the aux inputs, and the first 2 are aux inputs from the platform through the digital snake. The second 2, 3 and 4 aux ins are not used at this time. They will be in the future. And then 5 and 6 are the input from the background music that we use pre and post service from the computer. Then on the right are the returns, FX returns for the various sound effects. And then on the bottom there's the bus master. And there's 16 mix buses that can be used for mixing various channels, and that corresponds on the right side to mix bus 1 through 8 layer and 9 through 16. You can see that the levels are matching to the first 8, and there's the second 8, and those levels match the other side of the left side of the board. So let's go back and take a look at the channels. The first layer rather, set channels 1 through 16. The first 6 channels, 1 through 6, are dedicated to the drum and whatever microphones are in the drum cage. The next is bass, then acoustic guitar, which is turned on at this point. I should probably just mute it until it's used. Then the electric guitar is next. Then the organ, which is also muted. There's 3 microphones there that I should keep muted because they bring in some noise if they're not. That corresponds to mute button number 5. I need a labeler to label that correctly. And then the last 4 keyboards, left and right, for the main keyboard, and it's supposed to be left and right for the auxiliary keyboard, but the one on the right is not labeled right or correctly. The second layer of channel inputs, you can see the first 2 are on the A channel, A24, and those are the ambient mics that are above the cloud. And you can see that they're both set currently to A24, which is because one of them's not working, so they're both set to the same thing. Set to the same microphone, that is. Then we go past a few channels that are not used, and we come to the wireless mic inputs, channels 24 through 29. And there's 6 of them. They match the caps on the bottom of the microphones, and that's blue, gray, green, yellow, red, and black. I'm pointing out that they don't match the channel on the back where the input is. The channels 24 is input 25 and so forth. And then we come to the keyboard mic, which isn't wired yet. It's through the digital snake. We'll get that done soon. And you can see that there's 9 microphones and 8 channels coming in locally from the wireless receivers. And I'm pointing out that the channels 31 and 32 match the input channels in the back, whereas 29 is input channel 30. So now let's take a look at some individual channels and the things you can discover from it. If you select one of the channels by hitting the select button, you can adjust various items top of the board on that left side, and everything changes on that top. Dynamics and equalizer and low cut and various other things. And I'm pushing the view button for the gate ducker. And when I push that view button, it changes the LCD screen to correspond to some fine adjustments that you can do with that LCD screen. And I'm showing you that you can switch to another view of that screen for the dynamics. I'm switching back and forth here. It changes the LCD screen. So let's take a look at the right side of the board, which is 4 layers as well. And the far right fader is always the main or the front of house or just house. The first layer is the DCA groups, and those are just nothing more than faders that control a group of faders. For instance, the first one I'm pushing is the drums, and you can see the lights light up for the drums. And the second one is the bass guitar, which I'll push there. And the next one over, the third one, is the guitars, the 2, and then the next one are the keyboards, and then finally the organ for that set of channels. Now the next one over is for the microphones. They're more accurately the Behringer microphones, which there are 6 of them. And you push that button and you can see that controls those as a group. The next one over is the FX button, which is for all the FX that can be controlled by that one fader. I gotta switch back to the vocal channel here in a second, which is for the pulpit mics. And I switch it to the channel 17 through 32. And I push the DCA for the pulpit mics. And you can see those 2 light up. The handheld and the leveler. Now let's take a look at the mix buses themselves. And the first set of mix buses are 1 through 8, and there's only 3 here that are actually used. The first one is the pulpit mics, which are those 2 speakers you see on each side of the pulpit. The second one is the praise monitor bus mix, which is that one on the right, and then the one in front of the keyboard. And finally the third one, mix bus number 3, is that one pointing toward the chairs there. And it's labeled preacher for some reason. And then we have the rest of them that are not used on that layer. Then layer mix bus 9 through 16, we have the first one, which is 9. It's the broadcast mix, which I'm just pointing out that it goes to the broadcast machine. The next one is not used. The number 11 goes to the Audacity recorder on the projection machine, projection computer. So the next one is not used, and then we come to 13, 14, 15, and 16, which are the effects mix buses. Pointing out that 15 is used for echo on the vocals, and 16 is for reverb, and then the other two are for drums and other things. So that's it. That's how you do that. But I would suggest that you check out, like I said before in a meeting, Drew Brashler's video on basic mixing. He goes into the channels a little bit more as far as each individual items, as far as dynamics and gate ducker and equalizer and so forth. Much better than I could. But check that out, and I'll put a link into the description. Thank you very much.